The views expressed, opinions given, and any communication made between the hosts and guests of What Are You Afraid of Horror and Paranormal Show do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of Para-X Radio, EMC Network, or all services that play this show. The hosts and services are not responsible for the actions of their guests, and the original rights of all intellectual property is retained by the creator, and all work is used with either permission or Creative Commons license. The show is for entertainment purposes only.
Halloween is coming. Halloween is coming. Halloween.
This is only a test. This is a test of the EPS, the Emergency Paranormal System. If this had not been a test, we may have warned you about ghosts, phantom footsteps, black ichor on the walls, weird flushing toilets, haunted cries in the nights, or ghost stories.
We're good at that.
Yeah, we are good at that, actually.
Did you get the presidential test today?
Yeah, I did.
Through your phone? Yeah.
Yeah. Through FEMA.
220 it came.
220. I know everybody. It was a unifying moment.
Yeah. I think every smartphone in the U.S. and tablets as well. And
tablets.
They all got this alert.
Allison's phone didn't go off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she didn't go off, and she's sitting there feeling left out. And I think it's because she turned off her emergency systems.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can do that. You don't get weather alerts and stuff.
That would be why then. Okay.
Speaking of weather alerts, that thunderstorm last night.
Yeah.
Did you get it over in Ambler?
Oh, of course. Yeah. Yeah, it was creepy. Yeah. No tornadoes though.
No, we were lucky.
Yeah. No power outages.
About 11:20 last night, there was this loud crack of thunder that shook the house, and Alice and I jumped out of our skins. Yeah, it really.
Yeah. I think I remember that loud clap of thunder.
Yeah, it was really unsettling, but fun. It's nice. I think it's probably our last storm.
Yeah, I hope so.
New Jersey probably got quite a bit of it, from what I saw.
It's even a little humid for this time of year.
It's quite humid.
Yeah, for this time of year. I mean, we're in October now.
We need cold weather.
Yeah.
I mean, I was living up the cold weather. We were having hot coffee and wearing sweaters and things. In Gettysburg, we were over. Yeah. But, so this is episode 98.
Yes, it is.
Ghosts of New Jersey. 98, 2 away from Big 100.
2 away from 100.
Looks like 100 is going to be our Halloween episode.
It very well might be.
Yeah.
We didn't plan it like that.
No, we did not.
That's very appropriate, though.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. That was not planned.
We got some great content, though.
That's going to be cool, though. We got to do something special for that.
I was thinking 100 ghosts or something.
Yeah.
Honestly, as soon as we get through the Fort Mifflin event, I'll have more time and energy.
Right.
And we'll be able to plan better, some better shows, for Halloween, because we definitely want to have some fun with that. Absolutely. But this is Ghosts of New Jersey. We did an interview over at the Selma Paranormal Expo in Norristown with Karen E. Timper. And she wrote a book called Folklore of the New Jersey Shore, History of the Supernatural and Beyond. She wrote it with her father, Richard J. Kimmel. And she was a lovely lady. She had so much knowledge about the folklore of New Jersey. They do the East Brunswick Ghost Walk. It's a Halloween ghost walk. Right. In a great historic village in East Brunswick, New Jersey. Mm-hmm. And you can find information about that at their website, www.newjerseyghostorganization.com.
Wonderful.
We did that great interview, and we'll play that tonight.
Yeah, we will.
Plus a story from the book called The Ghost Train.
Oh.
Yeah, the David Walton read, our lovely David Walton.
He's great.
Oh, he's wonderful.
Yes.
We adore David.
Everything he narrates is wonderful.
He's made this show so special.
I know.
And there's actually a secret David fan club.
Is there?
On Para-X.
Oh, nice. I don't blame them.
Right.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, I'm too. He's incredible. But these are our countdown to Halloween 2018. You know, we had Andrew Fuller on the show on episode 97. He was incredible from Halloween Baking Championship. And he gave us a great recipe for dirty chai blondie brownies.
Wow.
You can find that over at the website at www.whatayouafraidofpodcast.com.
I might have to make some of them this year.
I was going to try it.
You're going to try it out?
Yeah, I was going to try it.
Have you done any baking yet this year?
I have, actually. Baking for my D&D group. I did this. It was a vanilla cake, which was a request by Mr. William Gill, whose birthday was last week.
Oh, nice.
So we put candles on the cake and blew them out, and I made my chili.
Nice.
With some very hot chili peppers this time.
Oh, great.
And did an apple cider sangria.
Well, that sounds good. Apple cider sangria.
Apple cider sangria. It's wonderful. White wine, apple cider, apple brandy, cut fruit, little 7-Up, little orange juice. Wonderful.
I honestly can't say I've ever had apple cider brandy or apple cider sangria.
Apple cider. This was delicious. And I got cinnamon sticks and stuck them in the cup.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Oh, delicious.
You ought to come get some. Well, I'm sure we'll make it again. It's a favorite.
That sounds like it. That sounds amazing.
We do a huge bowl. Yeah, we just ladle it out all night.
I'm sure it goes very quickly. You know,
and I soak the fruit in brandy for about 5 hours beforehand.
Oh.
So everyone's eating the fruit at the end, pears and oranges and things.
So delayed alcohol effect, right?
Right, you got it.
It's like kind of like Jello shots, right?
Yeah, my wife gets a little bit geschnickt. Playing D&D. She's playing a fire sorcerer, and by the middle or towards the end of the game, she's had 3, and she's just like, "There's something out there, blow it up with a fireball." She's never going to listen to this episode, so I think we're okay.
Yeah, all right, yeah. She'll never hear it.
But Halloween's coming up.
This is the one she will listen to.
Yeah, this is the very one she will. Yeah, of course it will be.
Yeah.
And, hi, Allison, love you. I'll be in the garage sleeping every night. If you need me.
Yeah, forget about the couch. She's going to sing right to the garage.
Right, exactly. So, What Are You Afraid of? Horror and Paranormal Show? Episode 98, Ghosts of New Jersey. For our Para X fans, we had to keep us at 58 minutes, so there's a longer version available over the website at www.whatayouafraidofpodcast.com. Yes, this is a lovely interview we did about the book New Jersey's Folklore and Many Haunts, from the birthplace of the New Jersey Devil to a shark attack in a small town, mob ties on the famed Atlantic City Boardwalk, pirates and a famous kidnapping to a prison murder. This book will take you there. Oh yeah, and one more thing, see some evidence. Father-daughter authors and co-founders of the New Jersey Ghost Organization take you on this road trip. So this is our interview with Karen E. Timper at the Selma Paranormal Expo on What Are You Afraid of? Horror and Paranormal Show on Parax Radio Friday nights at 9 o'clock, and you can find us at www.whatayouafraidofpodcast.com. The dead demand to be heard, and on What Are You Afraid of? Horror and Paranormal Show, Philadelphia's horror home, we listen.
New, true ghost stories every episode. Interviews with paranormal investigators. There is no supernatural.
The natural world is just far greater than we can perceive. More information and expanded content at www.whatayouafraidofpodcast.com.
And follow us on Twitter at PFWhatAfraidOf. Find us on all major podcast services, including iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify, iHeartRadio, or listen to us Fridays at 9 p.m. on the Para X Radio Network.
I'm horror author T. Fox Dunham.
I'm horror author and filmmaker Phil Thomas.
So what are you afraid of?
If you like what you hear, leave us a review on your preferred podcast service.
What Are You Afraid of? Horror and Paranormal Show. Speak to the Dead.
This Halloween.
Para X.
Explore the darkness.
Find out what goes bump in the night. Did you hear that?
Did you see that? What's that bright light in the sky? Oh, we so need to investigate.
Calling all witches and sensitives.
Explore the paranormal.
With host
Shauna
and Vicky
from Geeks Paranormal.
Wednesdays
At 9 Eastern.
8 Central.
Let's explore. On paraxradio.com.
Quality warning. This podcast often records in the field to gather the best in paranormal materia from witnesses. Often, we cannot control the quality of sound in this environment, such as you may hear distortions or perhaps the occasional moaning. But then again, we're not about control, are we?
Embrace the chaos.
the first Paranormal Expo here at the Selma Mansion, and this is T. Fox Dunham. I got a nice table set up here. We've been talking to psychics and ghost hunters all day, and I am now sitting down with Karen of the New Jersey Ghost Organization. I've seen your stuff online. I've seen your Facebook pages. I've seen posts pop up and various things, and I've always been interested in contacting you, and now we get to sit down with you, and you've got a great table downstairs. You've done some awesome books.
Oh, thank you.
You know, and so how long have you been doing this?
We've been doing this almost 15 years. It started out with my dad and I. We felt that we could start our own group, and we did, and we've been very successful. We've been very grateful for the amount of evidence that we do get from the places that we've investigated. My dad and I, when he authored his first book in 2008, I believe it was, he's into World War II artifacts and the latent energy that's attached to various artifacts. So that's what got us thinking that we could do a traveling museum of haunted artifacts. So we have a lot of World War II artifacts in the traveling museum. Some things aren't World War II related, so we have some interesting things like a piece from the Hindenburg. We have a bolt from one of the towers during the terror attack at 9/11.
I saw that. I touched that.
Yeah. So, it's pretty interesting. So we started that last year, and it's taken off pretty well. We're available for people doing various events, expos like this. We started introducing it, slowly. And we have 2 other books out. He has one on the Ghost of Central New Jersey, which is based on our investigations. Our latest book came out after Hurricane Sandy, so within the last 5 or 6 years. The book came out, Folklore on the Folklore of the New Jersey Shore. So we've covered the Jersey Shore. We're from Central New Jersey, so it made sense. We're working on a book about the Hindenburg right now, so we don't know. We're not sure when that one's going to be done, but
and that's in Lyndhurst, right? That
that's
area.
Lakehurst,
New
New Jersey.
Right,
Lakehurst, Jersey. We're from
Jersey. Yeah.
So we've been working on that. We've run expos before, but we started as a fundraiser for the historic village in the town that I live in. We started doing ghost tours every Saturday nights in October. So that takes us down to the historical district that was established in 1634.
Okay, 1634.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting homes down there, so we've been doing that.
Right.
And we're here today at Selma, so it's for a good cause. We've met some nice people, and we've reconnected with people that we've known for many years as well. So it's been a fun weekend.
Yeah, it's been neat, and it's been good to meet people.
It is. It absolutely is.
This is Phil Thomas. This is my guy, my other guy.
Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
This is Karen. She's with the
New Jersey Ghost.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
And so she's down here with some haunted artifacts, like this bolt from 9/11 from the World Trade Center.
All right.
And she does a traveling museum of antiquities and things like that have an energy connected to them.
Yep, haunted artifacts.
So, do you see ghosts yourself?
I don't.
You don't?
I've had experiences. My dad and I talk about it in the Folklore book, how we came together. We've had the same dream and not realized it until it came up one day in conversation. I've in my sleep, I've been on the other side. People always tell me, oh, you've got a whole slew of people attached to you that watch over you and are interested in what you do and are there for you. I don't see them. I don't feel them. I don't see them. Little things, like when we tell people, well, do you, when they say, oh, I see things out of the corner of my eye or things like that, that's me.
Right. Okay.
We have another member, one of our newer members, and she, if she's around too many of the haunted artifacts and things like that, she gets physically sick. So other people are more sensitive, I guess, and affects them in different ways. Yeah, no, I don't. I've captured them on camera, video, voice recordings, things like that.
EVPs,
so
that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, we've gotten some good ones.
Well, so do you go out and investigate public places? Do you do private housing?
We do both.
We do both.
Yeah, we do both. And you know what? And if it helps a historical location, and it gets people interested, and that's what the main goal is, is to preserve a lot of history, because you can't, once you tear something down or knock something down, you can't take it back.
Right.
So they really need to stop doing these things.
Which is why we're here. We're trying to help preserve this
absolutely
house. Absolutely,
officials, township officials, things like that. A lot of them have no clue. They have no connection. They probably never grew up in the area. They probably never even grew up in the state. And they come in with all these big ideas, and they want to put up these malls and these big houses that people can't afford after a while, and they're left vacant. And it's a shame. Like I said, you can't take it back. So, once it's gone, it's gone.
We've been hearing a lot of controversy over demons and inhuman spirits. Mm-hmm. And we get some ghost hunters on the show, or let's just say ghost storytellers, who come on and swear that there are demons everywhere and they've encountered demonic spirits and they're really horrible. And then we get many who say it's a Hollywood phenomenon.
I don't know. I mean, we had an inhuman encounter on an investigation. There's not many, I'm sure, at least for us. But, we get a lot of kooky people calling us, and I think a lot of it has to do with mental illness or things, negative things that are going on in their personal life. But, and we really don't do, we don't do exorcisms or things like that. That's not what our group is there for.
What happened with your inhuman experience?
Well, we did an old flower shop, and back in probably the 1800s, there was a little girl killed out on the corner. She was run over by a horse and carriage, and the flower shop called us, and they said, we feel that there's a little girl haunting the flower shop. We put out paper and crayons and things, and she likes to ring the bells that hang from the doorknob, and things like that. So we did our investigation, and we had a psychic in the group at the time, and I said to her, I want you to draw for me what you're seeing in your mind, your psychic impressions. What happened was she drew a picture, and it looked like a shark's head. In the drawing. Very rough drawing. I folded it up, put it in my pocket, and when we got our pictures back, and we were still filming or taking pictures with film camera, so it wasn't even a question of digital or anything like that. So when we got the film processed and we looked at the photographs, sure enough, there was an orb where she was, and inside that orb was a shark's head. Okay. So I was like, okay, well, that was a confirmation for us, in regards to her psychic impressions, what she was getting. Well, it was funny because she says, I see a cloaked figure, a dark figure, things like that, okay? Well, we all moved to another corner of the basement. And, when a lot of people, kind of congregate to one place, the temperature rises. It doesn't get colder. Well, in this case, the temperature got colder. You started feeling like something was like enveloping you, some energy around you. And all of a sudden, down the basement, they had one of those like walk-in kind of refrigerators like restaurants have, things like that. And because it was a flower shop, they used that for like the overflow for like their bigger holidays, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, things like that, where they're getting an overabundance of flower orders and things. And it was unplugged, shut down, not used. It wasn't a busy time. And all of a sudden, when the corner started getting colder and colder, the refrigerator started making noise as if it was running and plugged in and working, and it was going to come off of its legs and start walking. The modem started dialing up. All kinds of things. It was like such a sudden surge of energy. And then it stopped. But when we got photographs developed, like I said, everywhere where there was a big orb, which may have been the cloaked figure, not thinking it was demonic, maybe inhuman, whatever it was protecting this little girl, because where you saw the big orb, there was a little orb right next to it, no matter what picture you looked at. So that was kind of interesting. That was something that we had never experienced before.
I always thought it was interesting. You were talking about haunted objects.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I always found that topic interesting. I read a book I think it was actually called Haunted Objects. I think.
Really?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what do you?
Well, there's latent energy attached to a lot of artifacts and antiques and things like that, because the energy is so strong in life, it can become so strong in death that spirits will attach to objects that were familiar to them.
Like jewelry and things
well,
like that.
My dad has a Nazi flag that was a burial flag. It draped the coffin of a Stuka pilot.
Right. Okay.
And he was
Just
a very
dive bomber.
famous one.
So
Yeah,
the Luftwaffe,
the Luftwaffe pilot.
Yeah.
And during World War II, and that spirit is an interactive spirit in my dad's house.
So
it
you
was
actually
given to him
brought-
by the family over in Germany. He didn't know them or anything. They had contacted him, and he, I guess had a rapport with them over time. And the flag came into his possession, and he's done EVP sessions and all kinds of things. So with the flag, with the pilot,
That's really, wow.
So my dad deals with a lot of, like I said, the latent energy, that remains behind with objects.
So you also did a book of folklore of the Jersey Shore.
Uh-huh.
How did you collect the folklore of the Jersey Shore?
Well, I mean, New Jersey's famous for pirates, and it's up and down the whole East Coast, and specifically New Jersey, the Jersey Devils.
Yeah.
So a lot of folklore circulates about and around about the Jersey Devil and things like that. So we actually went out to the sites, and most of the sites were familiar to me growing up in New Jersey, Asbury Park, all these places, and it was easy. It was very easy. We went out and we spoke to people, and just our own history and some of our own investigations, of the places, as a group.
Wow. So you were actually out in the Pine Barrens or talking
Oh
to
yeah,
people in different cities?
yeah. We went to the Leeds house, where it once stood.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the birth of the Jersey Devil
They're
started.
supposedly born in the
Yeah.
Right.
So the
We like
13th
the
child.
Jersey
Yeah.
Devil. The 13th child.
Yep.
Anything fun out of Cape May or Wildwood?
Cape May has some things associated, I think, with World War II.
Yeah. They have the lighthouse, the bunker.
That and also and Sandy Hook. Sandy Hook was
Hook.
big. That was big even during the Revolutionary War. Sandy Hook had a lot to do with that, and pirates. So it's New Jersey is so rich in history. I mean, we had many battles with the Revolutionary War and things like that. So I mean, Native American Indians, all kinds of things. George Washington slept everywhere.
Oh yeah, he always.
Oh yeah.
He slept around that guy.
Oh yeah. We actually have an image of him in a mirror.
Do you?
From an estate that we did.
Oh, what happened there? You just.
Oh, that was kind of interesting too. That was no other group has done that place, and no other group probably will ever. But that was a turn of the century mansion. They called them their summer houses. And even though they weren't close to the shore, they were close enough from where they were coming. And it was, I guess, a wealthy family enough that they had a staff of people. And we found this old dresser, which was it was an old serpentine style dresser with the mirror attached and everything. And what caught our attention was the silver deterioration, and there was moisture in the mirror and things like that. So we started photographing, and we have an actual image of George Washington in the mirror. Wow. And what grabbed us was the whole room was color, but the mirror, everything was black and white. So we felt that was probably a portal, because when we photographed the mirror again, and this was the only real piece of furniture that was still attached to the original house, and the last owner of the house, he was a young boy growing up in the house, but his ashes are buried on the front lawn. And now you're an official investigator there.
Right.
So anyway, what happened was we photographed the mirror again, and we got a whole staff of people in the mirror. We photographed it again. We got father and son, the little boy that's buried on the front lawn. So that was kind of interesting. So and George Washington, his troops were through that area.
Right.
So. It's New Jersey's got a lot, and we're not far. We're an hour and 15 minutes from Selma,
Right
so
up there.
we're not far at all.
You're right over the bridge there.
Yep, and we've got it great because we've got the mountains, We've got the shore, at the south end
Very much so,
of
yeah.
New Jersey. We're close to New York City. We're close to Philly.
It is
So
well located.
It is a well located state. So, and it's got a lot of history, a lot of haunted history. So
Here's something fun for you.
Okay.
Something I learned while I was down in Ocean City.
okay,
During World War II, obviously, they had a lot of oil tankers going back and forth along the Jersey coast.
Okay.
They were going down into Florida. They're coming around to Texas, to unload oil and supplies. And of course, out in Ocean City, they have the Liberty ship, the concrete Liberty ship that's sunk out there.
oh yes, yeah,
And
the
it's still
concrete
there.
ship,
Yeah,
yep.
the Liberty ships, when they would
Yep.
make them out of concrete because they were conserving.
Yep.
Now, there were stories of strangers coming into Ocean City right around 1942, going to see movies and things like that. And at one point, they captured a German U-boat
Yes.
off the coast of Ocean City.
Yes.
And when they brought in the Unter the Seeboot crew, they found movie tickets in their pockets.
Wow.
From a theater in Ocean City. They were coming on skiffs in the middle of the
wow.
night, landing, going to the movies, going to the restaurants, hanging out, and then going back to the submarine
Wow.
and torpedoing the
Yeah,
oil
yeah,
tankers
yeah.
coming through. Did you ever hear that,
That
Phil?
concrete ship is really big, though. If
It
you've
is.
ever seen pictures of
is.
it in its entirety before it sunk, it's a huge ship. Yeah.
So, well, that's incredible. And so, what's on the future horizon for you
What's
guys?
on the horizon for us? My dad and I are working on another book about the Hindenburg.
Okay, yeah.
We run our ghost tours every Saturday night in October
Where are they at?
in East Brunswick.
Okay.
It's Middlesex County. We're near Rutgers. We're between exit 8A and 9 on the New
Okay.
Jersey Turnpike.
That's not too far.
No,
Come up there. and-
every Saturday night in the historic village down there. And the money goes for a good cause, either the fire department, the museum, or the American Legion Hall that's down there.
Oh,
So we
that's
try
great.
to keep the money in the village. I'm trying to think of what else we've got. We'll be at Fort Mifflin next in 2 weeks.
Yeah, you guys, they're doing another event up there.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
We help coordinate the one in October, September.
Okay.
Up there, if you want to come up there, we
yeah, let us know.
we coordinated one. We had a lot of horror authors come down. I'm a member of the HWA. Phil's a author and horror filmmaker. We coordinated a reading down there last year with people like James Chambers, John Foster, but we're doing another one this year.
Okay.
So definitely come
Let
out
us
in
know,
October.
let us
We'll
know,
get
yeah.
some tables going.
Yeah, let us know.
And do you have a website where people can find
we
you?
do, NewJerseyGhostOrganization.com.
Fantastic.
That's easy.
Well, thank you so much for talking to
Oh,
us.
thank you
This
very
is
much.
great. This is T. Fox Dunham.
This is Phil Thomas.
We're here at Selma. Things are winding down.
Folklore of the New Jersey Shore. History of the Supernatural and Beyond. From Richard J. Kimmel and Karen E. Timper. Read by David Walton. One story is that of a woman, pale-looking and faint of figure. You may encounter in search of her husband, who went to war and never returned, simply strolling along on the beach late at night. If you wish, you may approach her, but do not be surprised if she ignores you and keeps on walking, always with the sad expression on her face, and her eyes trained towards the sea. As she reaches a certain point on the beach, believed by the locals to be the spot where she had first met her husband, she lingers for a moment and then seems to vanish into the evening's sea air. The lighthouse that refuses to die. The strong tides were responsible for many shipwrecks along the length of Long Beach Island. As a result, a lighthouse was built on the northern end of the island. Barnegat Lighthouse is still standing and is open to the public during the summer. The lighthouse was automated in 1927, but would only remain in service another 17 years. After World War II, the lighthouse was decommissioned and given to the state of New Jersey. Now, you may not give second thoughts to this if it were not for what seems to be the mysterious blinking of the lighthouse light on stormy nights, when the sea is rough and the howling wind's echoing laughter resounds as if it were riding on the waves beating against the rocks, as some of the local inhabitants tell it. Richard's own ghost train to nowhere. I thought it would be fitting to conclude this chapter with a little story of my own. Growing up in Newark, New Jersey as a young lad, I can recall that when the hot days of summer became a reality, some members of my father's side of our family would take a week's rental at a lonely stretch of beach known then as Charlie's Beach. Ironically, my father's nickname was Charlie. I remember that this was in the summer of 1945 because I recall reports of the war in Europe nearing its end. If my recollection serves me correctly, this particular Charlie's Beach was located at or near Keyport, New Jersey. However, I am not certain if this beach is still in existence today. Now, my dad would go there for an overnight on one of the weekends that the family was there, and would take me along. My mother always stayed at home, as she did not care that much for ocean bathing. Usually, we would arrive there early evening on a Friday, and return home on Sunday. Since we did not go for a dip in the ocean in the evening, I would be on my own to amuse myself while my father sat and chatted with family members. A short distance from the bungalow was a railroad track, and I would place a coin on one of the tracks at the sound of a train whistle. The coin would be flattened, usually to double its original size. On one of these occasions, as storm clouds were beginning to form and thunder could be heard, the sky beginning to darken, I heard the sound of a train whistle, quickly putting my coin on the track, and waited, knowing that my father would be calling me to come in soon. Now, this may sound a bit strange, as it did to me at the time, but I could hear the sound of the train passing, and could feel the breeze, but no train was visible. This was not my imagination, as the strangest part of all was that my coin had been flattened by this ghost train to nowhere. It was not until many years later I discovered that a long-time railroad engineer, whose run that was, had died suddenly during that same summer. Was he still making his run? And was I fortunate to have been there at the same time? Note, I wish to emphasize that it is not a good practice to permit children to play near railroad tracks.
Mercy, a new horror medical thriller from author T. Fox Dunham, published by Bloodbound Books. Based on the author's horrific battle with a rare form of lymphoma that involved intense chemotherapy and radiation, Fox turns the horror of his experience into terror on the page.
William Saint is dying of cancer. On most days, death seems like a humane alternative to the treatment. Stricken with fever, William is rushed to Mercy, notorious as a place to send the sickest of the poor and uninsured to be forgotten, and finds the hospital in even worse condition than his previous visit.
Willie's memories faded. He grabbed his sack head of the scarecrow, picking at the exposed chicken wire to hold them in. However, the memories fell out of the holes in his face. They wormed and crawled from the leather flesh and the old clothing of the scarecrow, then squirmed and wiggled down his body.
The grounds are unkempt, the foundation is cracking, and like the wild mushrooms sprouting from the fissures of decay around it, something is growing inside the hospital. Something dark.
Fangoria gives Mercy 3.5 out of 4 skulls. Dunham has channeled his many brushes with the other side into the exquisitely rendered, lyrical, supernatural hospital thriller Mercy.
It's feeding on the sickness and sustaining itself on the staff, changing them, and now it wants Willie.
Come now, Mr. Saint. Just a little more of that sweet milk. So salty and so good. You won't miss it. And we ever do so like our delicacies here at Mercy Hospital.
Part medical horror, part supernatural suspense, Mercy is a hard-hitting fever dream of a novel. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Tim Wagner, author of The Way of All Flesh and Eat the Night. Available from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and bookstores everywhere in both print and digital versions.
Life is an addiction.
Let go. Let it all burn.
Well, here we are again. I thought that perhaps the nightmare was over, but no. I am summoned once again and can only obey. I am in thrall of Fox and unable to resist his powers, his hypnotic powers, masquerading as charm and friendship, his transatlantic, perhaps global powers. And so, every Sunday morning I sit in front of a microphone and read. Every Sunday afternoon I edit the audio file I have been commanded to create. Every Sunday evening I press send on an email to Philadelphia with an MP3 attached and tremble as I await the verdict of my master. I changed my name from David Walton to Brendan Shawland and created music which I liberally sprinkled throughout the internet in websites including SoundCloud and Bandcamp in a pathetic attempt to throw him off the scent. Those hopeless breadcrumbs are still available if you care to listen, so that you will know what not to do when your time comes. That's right, it didn't work. He tracked me down, and I am once again his creature. If you are listening to this, you are in grave danger, and I can only urge you to flee. Flee! Before it is too late, before you find that you too are a voice actor on whatayouafraidof.com.
What are you afraid of?
Hi, I'm Tim Wagner, Bram Stoker award-winning author.
Hashtag Grave Girls. This is Katrina Weidman of Destination America's Paranormal Lockdown.
This is Jim Chambers. I'm the author of The Engines of Sacrifice.
This is Jasper Barr, award-winning author of The Final Cut.
And you're listening to What Are You Afraid Of?
What Are You Afraid Of?
To What Are You Afraid Of?
What are you afraid of?
Love it. Fantoxic, please. Fantoxic.
I love stories about trains.
Oh, me too.
And I just had to pick that one out, and it has some special meaning to the author, you know, too. And just, it was a neat little interview. Remember, we got a bunch of material over there at Selma. A fun event.
That was a fun event, yeah. I did enjoy it. I had a good time.
Neat building.
Yeah, it was.
You know, that we do, the haunted building.
I was going to say very haunted building, yeah. I was actually looking up and doing some research on it, and it goes back a ways, you know, and there's some speculation that that's very haunted. So
remember, Chris Gutowski got some interesting stuff in the basement with Paul Dixon that night. Yeah, because they stayed and did a ghost hunt.
Why didn't we stay? We should have stayed and did a ghost hunt.
Well, let them do the work.
I know.
We'll just interview them.
Well, no, I don't mean participate. I mean, it's kind of like hang back and just be an observer.
Yeah, we'll get embedded.
Yeah.
I was thinking about doing something in Gettysburg for my birthday if you're interested.
Okay.
Setting up a ghost hunt out there.
Oh, February?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe a little later. We'll see how it goes, what the weather's like. But I was thinking about us going out, and Gettysburg was one of those great places that you can go in all weather and enjoy.
Absolutely.
You know, because we were just there.
Yeah, you guys were, and how was that? How did that go?
Oh my, it was a lot of fun. Yeah. It always is. We went up for the weekend. We went up Saturday morning, came home Sunday night, and we stayed. I got a $50 credit from Booking.com for the reviews I write.
Nice.
So we stayed at one of the hotels, one of the outside hotels. We can't really stay in town; it's a little expensive.
Right.
But ghost season is really starting to gear up out there.
Right.
And we spent the first day kind of hanging out town, getting dinner, having drinks. At the Blue Parrot. The Parrot's a tavern in town in Gettysburg. And the second day, I really wanted to take a tour of the Jenny Wade house.
Okay, Jenny Wade, all right.
Which I had never done.
Right.
And so we went up. We were going to get tickets, and we went up to the museum, the Jenny Wade house, and they said this isn't actually the Jenny Wade house. It's Jenny Wade's sister's house. You know, it has the Jenny Wade Museum in it and the gift shop.
Right.
She was killed there, but it wasn't her house. It was her sister's house.
Right, it was her sister's house. Okay, so all right. And it has the bullet in the door.
So instead, we...
Did you see the bullet?
No.
You didn't see the bullet?
No, this time we didn't have a lot of time, and the next tour was like an hour later.
If you walk out, this is the front door.
Oh, is it the front door?
That you walk out.
Oh, it's right there.
It's right there.
I didn't know that.
It's just a hole. It's the front door. It's the entrance. The bullet came through the door. Actually, was in the kitchen baking.
Oh, I didn't
know
know
through
that.
the very front door, and that's the same door. It's still there.
I wonder what she was baking.
Bread, I believe.
Bread.
Yeah,
beautiful.
She was breaking some bread. It hit her in the back.
Mm-hmm.
She died in the basement. They took her down the basement
because she bled out. And
she
died.
bled out, and they took her in the basement. Yeah, and that's where she passed away. And I went on a tour, and my phone battery. I had a full battery. No, sorry, it wasn't my phone. It was my camera. It was a camera battery. I had a full battery on my camera, and we were in the basement. My battery lasted about 2 minutes, and it started flashing red and just kicked off.
Died again. The battery drain.
The battery drain. There was absolutely no explanation for that. That, and I know my cameras. Yeah. I know how long the batteries last.
Yeah.
That battery was charged, and it had a full battery when I walked down there. And within a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes, it was done. It was just done.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
So we skipped that and we went down the street a little bit. And of course, if you want a ghost tour in Gettysburg, you just have to walk 5 feet.
That's it.
They're everywhere. But we found another place, and they were doing ghost tours of haunted objects in a museum.
Oh, interesting.
And it turned out it was in Jenny Wade Birth House.
Okay, Jenny Wade. Oh, interesting.
So we ended up seeing the Jenny Wade house anyway. And we went in and we did this lovely ghost tour there and saw several haunted objects. They had a Ouija board. You know the story of the Ouija board that keeps coming back?
Yeah, the Ouija board that yeah.
They burn it, they throw it in the river, and it just shows up on the porch the next day.
Right.
And there was a haunted doll there.
Ooh.
And some haunted mirror and a haunted trunk.
Wasn't Annabelle, was it?
I know, but it was supposed to be. They talked about Annabelle, obviously, but apparently she gave a lot of bad luck to her owners.
Right.
And they had stuff unknown from the Vatican.
Oh,
and we were up there in the house, and we were in one of the upstairs rooms and looking in some of the haunted objects, like some of the more potent objects. In fact, they have warnings everywhere about blessings and not letting this stuff leave with you. And I kind of look out of the corner of my eye, and I see a figure pass in the upstairs hall.
Ooh. And
I caught the back of a blue petticoat.
Okay.
You know, like historic garb.
Right.
And I asked them if they had another tour going or another tour guide dressed in historic. You know, it's Gettysburg, obviously.
Yeah.
They have people dressed in period clothing all the time. And we were the only ones upstairs the whole time.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Just caught the edge of it. You know?
Oof. So, was it like transparent? Was it?
No, I just saw a blue petticoat
pass by. Okay. All right. Was it disembodied or was
I don't know.
Okay.
I just caught the end of it.
Wow.
You know, kind of like you're giving your attention to the tour guide, and the door is on the left peripheral vision, and you just see this thing move. The movement catches your eye, and you look over and you see someone just moving out.
Yeah.
And there it was.
Wow.
So who knows? Maybe it was a trick of the light or something, but I swear I saw. So that was fun.
If you think you saw a petticoat, then most likely you probably did.
I mean, it was pretty obvious it wasn't a regular dress.
Right.
Obviously. And it was pretty cold weather, and nobody was upstairs. They had one guy downstairs running the shop, and our tour guide, who was a quite knowledgeable fellow himself.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was a fun little tour. It was a fun little excursion, a neat thing to do. And we had a drink afterwards at the Sweeney Tavern over at Farnsworth.
Oh, Sweeney's. Yep. I like Sweeney's.
Sweeney's is wonderful.
Yeah, Sweeney Tavern. Yeah. They have some great drinks there.
Oh my God, yes.
They have did you have when we were there last year? Did you? I had this. I had a pumpkin martini.
Beer pumpkin martini.
Did you have that?
No, I drink Jameson's in Gettysburg.
Right. Nice. What about the Red Rebel Yell? Did you have one of those?
No, I did not.
No?
I was trying to save a little money, but we did.
Yeah, you won't save it having those because they're like $8 or something.
Yeah, I always order off the menu.
Right.
But we did go out to the battlefield, and it was raining off and on, but it was fine. In Gettysburg, you can find things to do. So we enjoyed the movie. And we enjoyed walking around the museum. And then we came back into town. We were hungry. So we decided to go back to Sweeney. And I ordered their apple butter and their bread appetizer. Oh, my God. It was like a pound cake bread with fresh apple butter. Oh, and their meatloaf. It was delicious.
It does sound delicious.
Oh, it was really good. And as we were walking out to the car, I see this apple cider tavern.
Okay.
That was set up by the school where we parked down by Mark Nesbitt's that last time. That we went up and recorded with him.
Right.
And we went in, and I thought Allison was going to, fight me and want to go home. But no, she saw that they served flights of their various apple ciders. And so we got a flight. We each picked 3 kinds. And we were sitting there sipping these delicious various apple ciders. And we got a couple of bottles.
Nice.
And brought them home. It was a lovely night.
Aren't flights amazing?
I know.
just love them, man. Samplers, flights, are great.
Yeah, we got one of the extra potent apple ciders.
Oh.
And we got a peach cider.
A peach cider, nice.
Upstairs with my mead that I
Okay.
have upstairs too. Getting ready to be consumed in autumn. But what was fun too, where'd
you get this mead?
It was in Jim Thorpe.
Okay.
Stone Keep Meadery.
Okay.
But they just moved out of there. The store moved out of there. They're in another location.
All right.
But the mead is
So you're saving the mead for
autumn.
For autumn,
for
nice.
one night. A nice night. We have a nice meal and we want to enjoy something.
Mead is great for the fall, for autumn. I don't know if you ever had the Renaissance Fair mead. But
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, they make it there on site too.
Yeah. I've never had mead that good. I mean, you can go to a liquor store and buy mead,
but it's not this local.
It's not the same. No.
Yeah.
Right. Not like.
Not like these wonderful local wineries,
right? Yeah,
apple orchards.
That's where you want to. That's where you want to get it.
So whenever we go to these places, we always get a couple of bottles and just let them sit there and drink them to a special occasion.
Nice.
Yeah. So, I want to tell you, we were up at Pennhurst.
Oh, right.
That Friday was a busy weekend.
Yeah.
Friday was Pennhurst. We got free tickets through a friend whose brother works there.
Right.
We went up and enjoyed, the 3 buildings. They've improved it.
Nice.
They took what was once the crypt, the catacombs, and they made it into a morgue.
Nice.
And it's the site of a science experiment gone wrong. So they have all this new stuff there, like these vats and tanks and mad scientist stuff. And you walk through a crematorium.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it amazes me that every year they always change and improve things. Always, every year.
Yeah.
Because remember last year, they were talking about how much different it was last year from the year before. And then I think every year they just improve things, and they, everything's constantly being updated. And so, it's smart on their part, because every time you go, if you go from year to year, you're going to get a different experience.
You're going to get something, and that's what they have to do.
You're getting a different experience every time you go each year.
The first building was different too. Instead of having all these open buildings, it was a lot of enclosed hallways this time.
Okay.
That way they keep you sort of going in one line instead of massing up. And it was mostly going through the patients' quarters and showers and cells and things like that.
Wow.
A lot more people. It was fun. It was a nice experience.
That sounds great, yeah.
And we went over to the Mayflower House afterwards.
Oh, the Mayflower, yeah.
We
walk through and they have
it's the
different
museum.
cells, yeah.
And you can see the old barracks, the old...
Yep.
We went to the second floor, and we were looking through the various rooms, which is mostly bunks and wheelchairs and just old rusty furniture and the must in that place.
I know.
We were upstairs, and I was looking in one room, and Cindy was walking around me. Allison was already going in another room looking around. We were alone up there. And the window's facing, there's light out there, but it's facing away. It's on the second floor. And a shadow moved in front of the window. Right? And I thought, somebody back there. But there was no one back there at all.
No one back there.
And we weren't casting any shadows or anything. It was definitely something moving.
Shadow people?
Yeah, maybe, or just whatever. I definitely saw something there, so.
Wow.
Ghost stories from Pennhurst and Gettysburg.
Yeah, right.
I had a fun weekend.
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty fun weekend. Have you been watching any horror movies?
Yeah, I went over to Amazon Prime last Sunday to check out their array of zombie movies to see if there was anything new. And I surprised by the amount of new zombie movies that they had placed on there, made by indie film companies.
Really?
Yeah, there must have been at least 50 or 60 new ones.
Do you have a favorite zombie movie?
Well, of course. I would have to say that would be... good question. I always lean more towards Day of the Dead.
Okay.
The third of the Romero films.
Okay.
Where it's the end of the world and a military base is trying to figure out a way to stop it. And they've lost complete contact with the outside world. But what I like about it is that it shows more about them it shows more about them falling apart than it does about the world itself.
Right.
As they're holding on to these old ideas and not evolving to meet what's changed. But honestly, I've been thinking about this, and I think my favorite zombie movie is Diary of the Dead.
Okay, all right.
George Romero's
Right.
Return.
I
Did you
love
see Diary?
I have not seen it, but I'm very aware of it.
You've not seen Diary?
No.
Oh my word!
No.
It's a film.
The last Romero zombie movie I've seen was Land of the Dead.
Okay, so you still have to go up to that was Land of the Dead, and then he did Diary, which was a much smaller production, much more in tone with what he did, and it's basically about a film student and a group of students. I think it was Scranton or Pittsburgh, and they're driving home on the night of a Night of the Living Dead zombie apocalypse, and the one guy is making a film about it as they're going.
Right.
You'd really like this.
I mean, I know. Romero had passed away. Rest in peace. But when did this movie come out? When did he do this?
I'd say it was about 5 years ago.
It's not that long ago.
Yeah,
okay. Right.
You'll find it everywhere.
I think I saw it on Hulu.
Did you?
I think I saw it, and I was like, I was like George Romero. I'm like, I never. It's funny because it was a couple days ago, and I didn't know it existed. I never heard of it.
Dead Up.
I've never heard of it.
Again. I mean, I have the DVD somewhere.
I love all the George Romero movies, the zombie movies, and everything. But I think. And I'm probably in the minority with this, but I think my favorite zombie movie has to be Return of the Living Dead.
That's another favorite too.
I love that movie. In fact, I just watched it 2 nights ago.
Chemical Zombies.
I just watched it 2 nights ago.
That's also on Amazon Prime right now.
Yes, it is. And I actually, I did something interesting. I wanted to try my bandwidth out. I have that movie on Blu-ray.
Okay.
So I watched the first 5 minutes of it.
Yeah.
Just through Amazon Prime. And then I shut it off and I popped in my Blu-ray and watched it like that. And I have to say there was a slight difference in clarity, even though they're both HD.
All right.
And one of them's supposed to be.
So one was a little bit clearer.
My Blu-ray was a bit. I did notice something definitive with the Blu-ray because there's no filter.
Right.
So the clarity was a bit better.
Very cool.
With the Blu-ray, just a little bit. I mean, just a little bit. Not
If you have the TV to show.
If you're not looking for, I have a 4K 65-inch TV, and you notice these things on a TV like that. You just notice it.
Wow.
Something smaller you wouldn't. But and if you weren't looking for it like I was, you probably wouldn't notice. But I was specifically just honing in on that. So yeah, there was a little bit of a change. But I've been watching horror movies. I watched that. Some people are coming over tonight.
Are they? What are you guys going to watch?
My buddy's bringing the Halloween box set.
Nice.
Every single Halloween movie ever made, even the Rob Zombie ones, unfortunately.
Right. Wow. We're going to get some hate emails.
Yeah, I know.
Wow, I would like to get...
I'm actually a fan of Rob Zombie. I like Devil's Rejects. I like House of a Thousand Corpses. I'm a fan of his music. When I was in high school, I played the living crap out of White Zombie.
Yeah.
The crap.
I liked White Zombie.
I wore that album out. Both of his albums actually, with White Zombie, and I listened to them on repeat. But I have to say, Rob Zombie Halloweens, I'm just not on board for. That's my opinion.
Well, you're a purist.
That's my opinion. Yeah,
you're a purist when it comes to Halloween.
But I'm excited about the new one coming out with Jamie Lee Curtis returning. And
how many times can Jamie Lee Curtis kill Michael?
Well, they're pretending like the other ones didn't happen.
Okay, so it's like, okay, I see that. Yeah. That's kind of cool.
So my buddy's box set is obsolete except for one movie.
Right.
Halloween is the movie that in this canon, this pantheon, in the new timeline, Halloween is the only movie that exists. Everything after it never happens.
And then it's just this next movie about what happened as they got older.
40 years later, because it's the 40th anniversary this year of the original Halloween.
God, they're really doing a lot with that one. Classics. I would like to get the Friday the 13th, the series. DVDs this year with the haunted objects.
I was going to say I have the box set of movies, but not the series.
Yeah, I'd like to get I'm going to try to find that online, and I have Tales of the Dark Side to watch.
Oh, nice.
And Monsters is on Amazon Prime,
which
is another series of vignettes of stories.
Speaking of Pennhurst, have you been doing any horror gaming? And I'm going somewhere with this.
Yeah, actually, I've returned to the Walking Dead games.
Okay.
That you play through a story.
All right.
And that's about it so far. Okay. I've been so busy.
Well, yeah, I hear.
We've been playing D&D.
I totally hear that.
Yeah, we've been doing D&D.
If you're interested,
I
played a demo for it on PS4, but the game also exists on PC.
Okay.
It's called The Town of Light.
Okay.
And the demo takes place with a girl returning to an insane asylum.
Oh.
An abandoned insane asylum. There's no one there. And discovering the clues that lie within. So if you look, so it was one of these experiences. The demo came out a couple years ago. The game's a couple years old. But you might be able to download a free demo on PC, on Steam or something. But if you want to check these screenshots out, we've done here.
Typing something in I want to show you. Let's have a look.
Yeah, so, you know.
He's described. Oh, those are wonderful.
Yeah.
There's two ladies holding down a lady who's having an attack, and I love the kitchen. That's really cool.
And it's, I mean, this is the grounds outside.
Wow.
Of the asylum. It kind of looks like, reminds me of Pennhurst with all the overgrown, things. I mean, look at the creepy gate. See as you go through, but you're alone in this insane asylum by yourself. I mean, it's completely abandoned. It's just like Pennhurst, but you're there alone by yourself, and just things start happening. And there's abandoned roads that are broken out and crumbling that lead up to the actual insane asylum itself. But if you want to try out a demo, I think you can just download the free demo. At least I could on PS4. I'm not guaranteeing you can on PC, but they provided a free demo on PS4, which I played.
Okay.
I didn't play the full game, but the demo, even the demo creeped me out. And it was like pretty long, too. It was like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. And I was like, wow.
Well, that looks really cool.
Didn't buy the game, but it stuck in my mind.
I mean, horror gaming is a cool aspect of Halloween. It stuck
in my mind, and I always had in the back of my mind, like, I got to play that. I got to get that sometime, at some point, whenever,
Yeah, we'll check that out. I will definitely. I'm looking for a good scary game,
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it's it's funny because I mean, it's like there's not the zombies aren't after you. There's no monsters coming after you. It's all like psychological.
Well, that's the best kind.
Yeah, and
it's just. I started reading my zombie movie books, my zombie books and my demon books, and I saw an interesting movie on Amazon Prime, which I really liked. It was called The Surface. It was actually done by Brigham Young's movie department.
Okay.
And it's a simple short film about the end of the world and a woman who needs to save her son. And it was a basic concept. We've seen it 1,000 times before, but they try to teach empathy. In their movies, and I quite liked it. Actually, you ought to check it out.
And what's it called?
Called The Surface. It's like a 20-minute film. Very well done, very stylish, very 12 Monkeys.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I quite like that, and check that out over at Amazon Prime. I was quite surprised by The Surface, but they've got so much over at Amazon Prime. Breakdown Lane, Erotic Night of the Living Dead, The Trip, Empire State of the Dead, Zombie, Me and Me Mates Fight Zombies, Apocalypse, Wither Evidence, Another World, America Has Fallen, Zombies in the Woods, Zone of the Dead. I mean, you just go down the list.
It's insane how much they got. And I know you have Hulu as well. Yeah. Have you checked out any of the Huluween section?
Yeah.
The Huluween
I'm watching Angel
films?
again.
Did you see the short film contest?
I've seen the list. Yeah.
Yeah. They were like 5 minutes each. I watched like about 4 of them so far. Pretty good. One of them's called Carved. The other one's called, I think, Urn. The Urn. And yeah, they're pretty interesting films. I actually enjoyed them. They're all revolve pretty much around Halloween.
I'll check that out. I was saying I've started watching Angel. The Buffy the Vampire series.
Right.
Angel the Vampire with a Soul.
That's right.
Those time of year.
Absolutely.
But this is episode 98. This is the extended content on the additional Blu-ray of What Are You Afraid Of?
That's right. This is the special feature.
That's the special feature, yeah. And we had a wonderful interview with Karen Timper, which she did The Ghost Train, read by David Walton. Now, we had a story by you tonight called The Darker Season.
Yes.
Because we're doing stuff down the Jersey Shore.
Right.
And you wrote this during the summer, and it's still pretty warm out there.
Yeah, it still is, yeah. And it works pretty much for any time of year.
Right.
This particular story, it takes place on the Wildwood Boardwalk, in the dead of winter. And that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, and we'll close the show out with that.
Would you like some candy, little boy?
In the future, roving bands of comic book podcasts will savage the wasteland, once known as the Internet. One podcast, the Grolix Podcast, may not be the biggest, may not be the funniest, may not be the most well-spoken. Wait, what was my point again? Oh yes, the Grolix Podcast. Listen to it at grolixpodcast.com. That's GRAWLIX podcast.com.
But it's been a cool show.
Yes, it definitely has.
You know, I've enjoyed this one a lot, and I just wish we always had more time for our content and to talk and hang out, because that's really the fun part about podcasting is people come for the conversation.
Yes, they do.
They really do, and so it's been really cool hanging out and, you know, geeking out about movies with you.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I always love it.
But we're going to be at Fort Mifflin on October 6th, 2018.
That's right.
For those of you listening in the future, this event has passed.
Yes.
But for those of you listening this week, October 6th, 2018, Saturday, at historic Fort Mifflin, one of the most celebrated haunted sites in America, we're hosting Horror at the Fort. We did last year.
Right.
It was a day of history, horror readings, ghost hunting to support the preservation operation of Fort Mifflin. Now, it's a friendly and family day-long event. Parax Radio organized it. They had me organize the reading part of it, some of the vendors and stuff. They've got displays of Victorian mourning customs.
Wow.
Doesn't that sound like fun?
That does sound like fun.
They've got tarot card readers, truth seeker astrology, and paranormal presentations and spirited history will be there, and Bill Reap will be there.
Really?
From Reap Investigation.
Oh, wonderful.
He did a great interview over at the website at www.whatayouafraidofpodcast.com, where we're posting interviews from the authors.
Right.
Now, reading will be our lovely friend Trish, P.D. Kasak, winner of the Bram Stoker Award and World Fantasy. She hates it when I do that. You'll be reading.
I will be reading, yes.
Michael Garrett, my friend out west that I worked with on, I wrote for on the Admiral Joe Sestak campaign. Kenneth W. Kane, who's the leader of the PA chapter of the HWA. Nick Cato from up in New York. Todd Kessling and Pete Monar, mostly Philadelphia authors. You have to get a ticket. It's $10. You can go over to the website at www.whatayouafraidofpodcast.com to get tickets for that. And they're doing a ghost hunt that night, which is a separate thing.
Wow.
But we'll be there for that too.
Yes, we will.
We'll be hanging out and we'll be recording from the site.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what you're going to read?
I have a couple things in mind. Yeah, some flash fiction, short story. Yeah, I got it all right up here. Right up.
Yeah, probably do some flash fiction.
Yeah, flash fiction, short story.
I'll be hosting it up there.
I'll just keep reading until my time runs out, I guess.
Yeah, I'll have like a chainsaw sound or something. I'll get something ready to go.
Right.
But general admission is from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Then the ghost hunt runs from 7 p.m. to midnight.
Yeah.
So it'll be a lot of fun, and we'll be interviewing up there and talking to people and hanging out and doing a show.
Yeah.
That'll be the next
That's
episode.
That's going to be exciting. I can't wait.
That'll be episode 99.
Yeah, that'll be episode 99.
Yeah, that'll be episode, and then we'll be heading into Halloween.
Yeah.
But it's been... I've really been getting into Halloween so far, and it's all not even the 6th yet.
I know. Yeah, we're in the very beginning of
we are
October.
I'm getting as much as I can out of it. That trip to Gettysburg was a great thing to do in the fall.
Yes.
You know, I think that'll be a tradition of ours.
Absolutely.
We'll go up and have some Jameson and dinner and go on some ghost tours, and just what a great place to go.
It is.
You know, and then Pennhurst the other night was really a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I think we're talking about going out to Lancaster.
Oh, Lancaster, okay. Yeah.
In October somewhere, to enjoy dinner in this underground restaurant.
Are you going to go to underground restaurant?
Yeah, it's an underground restaurant.
Wow.
I mean, I'm sure I'll talk about it when we come back.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And they have the haunted houses out there.
Right,
one of the big ones are out there. I forget the name of it. But I think we're going to go to that one just because we burned every other place out around here.
Well, you know, you should. Did you ever go to the Speakeasy up in Bethlehem?
No. What's that? That's
called It's called Bookends or something?
Yeah, I've been there. We were there that one night.
Yeah.
Second episode,
right.
Halloween in Bethlehem.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we were up there. We did the ghost tour.
Underground Speakeasy.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a cool place. And are you guys going to do Renaissance Fair?
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay.
Yeah, there might be a bridge too far.
Really?
Yeah, Allison's back in class.
Oh, gotcha.
And I got a lot of medical stuff coming up.
Right.
You know, a lot of stuff I got to work on in October and November. So I think we're going to...
Understandable.
And she's talking about wanting to go back down to Cape May.
Okay.
So we'll see how that works, if
right.
my health's okay. But I definitely want to get to Lancaster to see the leaves change.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And go to the haunted houses out there. Are you going to hit any haunted houses?
Yeah, I am actually.
Where are you going?
I want to Hayride. I don't know which ones yet, but I'm going to do something. You know.
Well, you know, the one down in Newtown, PA, was always really good.
Mm-hmm.
Alice and I just burn that out every year, but they do a great. I think you'd really like it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I'll send you a link over there.
Yeah, send me a link to it. Yeah.
It
sounds pretty interesting.
Newtown,
right?
Yeah, Newtown, PA. Near the Oxford Valley Mall.
Do you know what it's called?
I'll find out for you.
Okay.
Yeah, find out where they've been doing a lot of.
Oxford Valley Mall. Yeah.
Yeah, it's right down there.
Nice.
But you should go down there if you can get a chance. They do a class job.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, we've been there so many times that we've kind of burned it out ourselves.
Yeah,
but you're going new.
Once you do something year after year after year, it's kind of like, need a little break, you know.
Give them a chance to sort of recoup and rebuild.
Recoup, rebuild, go back again in a few years. Hopefully, when there's a different experience.
Yeah,
because these places they all change.
Yeah, they do. They have to. They have
change
to.
it up.
Yeah, but I think that's why we're going out to Lancaster, to see something new.
Right. That's great. And it should be exciting.
But we're ending the show with your short fiction.
Yes.
The Darker Season, which you wrote in the summer.
Yes.
And it's perfect because it's set in what town?
Wildwood.
It's set in Wildwood, which is
New
Jersey.
That's right.
Yeah, which is where a lot of these stories from the book Folklore of the New Jersey Shore, History of the Supernatural and Beyond by Richard J. Kimmel and Karen E. Timper are set down there in New Jersey. It's a beautiful book. I mean, take a look at this.
It even looks...
Look at the pictures.
Wow,
Isn't that wonderful?
That is beautiful.
And they included a lot of their ghost hunts and investigations in here, too, at the various sites.
Right.
And, Cape May and everything, you can go down and check out the different stories from the book. It's kind of like a travel guide.
Yeah, and it's it's very appropriate that my short story takes place in Wildwood.
Exactly.
And, Wildwood on the boardwalk, and it revolves around Dracula's castle.
The one that burned down.
The one that burned down years ago. If anyone remembers that,
I do.
Old enough to remember it. Then,
I have very young memories of walking by there.
Yeah, remember that?
And hearing the noise, the laughter.
Remember the music?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's coming out. It was just great.
A lot of fun. But you can find links for the book at www.whatareyoufraidofpodcast.com, and also find all previous 97 of our episodes with expanded content, plus Andrew Fuller's recipe for the Dirty Chai Blondie Brownie.
Ah, nice.
Which Food Network actually had to release to me. I had to get permission.
Oh, wow. Well, here's a question before we close out.
Yeah.
Now, you said you walked past the Dracula's castle.
Yes.
Have you ever actually gone in?
I don't think my family ever took me in.
Or have you ever done the underground boat ride?
No.
No.
I couldn't remember, to tell you the truth, but I think my family
I did them both extensively. And it was an experience, to say that. It's a shame that it's gone.
Yeah, it is. Wildwood's beautiful, but it's a shame that...
Yeah, I miss it.
They have another haunted boat in Wildwood at the Carnival Grounds, the fair where the rides are,
right,
at the one pier, and it's another massive haunted house where you're walking through this radioactive boat.
Oh, interesting.
And I think you'd like that a lot.
Wow.
Alison and I did it one time. We quite enjoyed it, and it's a long time going through.
Nice.
It's not quick.
If I get down the shore again this year...
Yeah, go check it out.
By any stroke of luck.
Yeah.
or miracle, I should say. Then I'll check it out. Yeah.
Well, it's been a cool episode.
Yeah.
We're going to end with your short story,
okay,
The Darker Season, and we'll be counting down to Halloween for the next few weeks. Come get your spooky here.
Your spooky.
And some great guests are coming on. Well, thank you, Phil. This has been great. This is T. Fox Dunham.
And this is Phil Thomas.
Caliburn Press, LLC is a Madison, Wisconsin-based publishing company owned and operated by Alan Ledden. Caliburn works with talented writers, artists, editors, and marketers throughout the United States, and you can find their books through their many imprints that include Damnation Books, Eternal Press, Malaferia Press, Ciento Sordida Publishing, and Spiro Publishing. Please visit their website at sites.google.com/site/Caliburn Press LLC /home, or Google Caliburn Press to check out their growing list of titles on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and any other place fine books are sold.
From the author of the Ghost of Hollywood series and Workplace Spells comes a book for all lovers of pets, Animal Spells and Magic by Marla Brooks. Learn how to choose your next pet according to their astrological sign. Explore animal superstitions. Learn 25 magic spells for your pets and get instructions on creating your own spells. Learn who to call upon and what to use to cast these spells. Includes special chapters by Reverend Tim Shaw, Psychic to the Stars Kenny Kingston, Psychic Medium Victoria Gross, Animal Communicator Dinah Roseberry, and Shaman Willie Windwalker Gibson. This is the perfect book for all animal lovers. Animal Spells and Magic by Marla Brooks. For details on how to get your copy of this amazing new book, Go to www.schifferbooks.com or check out Marla Brooks online at www.marlabrooks.com. This would make the perfect gift for the animal lover in your life. Go to www.schifferbooks.com or ask about it at your local bookstore.
The Darker Season, based on true events. Written by Phil Thomas and read by David Walton. Not a soul could be seen. The beaches were empty. The welcoming rows of storefronts were dark. The amusement rides were motionless, and the distant sounds of Bach's toccata resonated faintly throughout the desolate boardwalk. Luke and his cousin Jonathan stood at the base of the giant Ferris wheel on Morris Pier and marvelled at its stature. One of the last relics of its time, its surroundings had been replaced long ago by flashier rides and activities. Every few seconds, the large metal structure would creak and sway, reminding them of its enormous presence. Luke felt a sense of nostalgia and a sting of regret. It had been a while since he'd stepped foot on Wildwood's Boardwalk. The last time proved itself too difficult, and it took him 6 long years to return comfortably. He decided to give it another attempt when his cousin Jonathan asked to accompany him on a 2-day trip to the Jersey Shore on a cold January weekend. Jonathan had grown up in the Midwest, having no access to the beaches or ocean, so Luke felt obligated to chaperone his cousin's first visit. They checked into the Avalon Motel, a place he knew well, before heading to the boardwalk. They heard about an approaching snowstorm, so they quickly hiked from their temporary residence and made their way to Morris Pier, while thoughts of guilt began to manifest within Luke. As they stood at the base of the giant Ferris wheel, listening to the gentle creaks, the first snowflakes began to fall. When the conditions escalated, they agreed to head back to the motel to get warm, but as they exited the pier through a wall of flurries, Luke noticed a large advertising billboard overhead that he'd not seen since being a child. A cartoonish picture of Count Dracula and a giant bat rested between the forgotten words, "Now, better than ever, Castle Dracula." "It can't be," Luke said, while staring at the impossible. After he shook the uneasiness, they proceeded to a section of the boardwalk formerly known as Nichols Midway Pier. The pleasant aroma of popcorn and hot dogs slowly began to resonate through the gusty wind, and the distant sounds of an organ could be heard. Luke recognized the music as Bach's Toccata and Fugue. It was Dracula's theme, and appropriate for this occasion, because once the cousins reached the end of the pier, the same castle advertised on the billboard immediately welcomed them. Luke felt his energy plummet, and his vision began to tunnel when he realized that Dracula's castle had rebuilt itself to its original grandeur. Its blood-tinted windows glared back at them as they approached the entryway to the castle, and the raised drawbridge echoed a release, lowering just inches from where they stood. "Whoa," Jonathan said. "Look at that." But Luke didn't share his cousin's enthusiasm, especially when the statue of the infamous vampire rolled out on wheels and stopped on the right side balcony. The small light bulbs in its eyes flashed green and red, while its arms stretched out, pointing in Luke's direction. "That's strange," Jonathan continued. "Does this operate all winter long?" Since this was Jonathan's first trip to Wildwood, he wouldn't know the difference. But Luke had visited the coastal resort every summer with his parents and siblings since he was 5 years old, and he knew that this was not only strange, but also impossible. The castle had burned to the ground in the early morning hours of January 16th, 2002. Nothing was left. But here it was on the anniversary of its demise, 16 years later, standing before him. What did it want? "Step right this way," a glassy voice whispered, while a figure in a black hooded robe and skeletal face makeup materialized from the castle's entrance and made its way across the bridge. Jonathan was excited and immediately agreed, figuring it would be a fun way to kill some time until the storm passed. Being apprehensive about the whole scenario, Luke pulled Jonathan aside and explained the fire tragedy to his skeptical cousin, who assumed it was nonsense that a torched castle could reappear and insisted they accept the offer. Fate ultimately dealt its ugly hand, and Luke reluctantly agreed, because not only was he frightened, he was also curious. He had buried a secret that most people weren't aware of, a secret that he'd kept hidden for almost 20 years, and now, more than anything, he sought vindication. A range of childhood memories returned as Luke followed the figure across the bridge and into the first darkened room of the castle. Their ghostly tour guide explained the various portraits and artifacts that adorned the circular space. The spectre appeared to only stare at Luke when it spoke. He was sure of that. They were eventually led down a long hallway that was decorated to resemble a medieval castle, complete with suits of armour, battle axes on the walls, and a hanging chandelier with blazing candles. It was just like Luke remembered. The interior's past had come alive, and everything reverted back to the way it had been. But the figure only answered Jonathan's questions, and any time Luke made an inquiry, he simply ignored him and continued with his duties. When they arrived at the halfway point, Luke encountered the same dark passageway that resulted in a panic attack as a young child, prompting his father to escort him out through the emergency exit. In its glassy voice, the figure pointed at Luke and said, "Many a man and child were reduced to tears at the sights and sounds of what we've experienced thus far. Isn't that correct?" Luke felt a chill run through his body. He didn't know how the guide could possibly know a single thing about him. All he knew was that he had to get out of there. After a few more harrowing rooms, one of which required Luke to climb into Dracula's casket so he could experience how the legendary vampire spent his days, they exited via the drawbridge and into the continuing blizzard. Jonathan appeared to be walking on air from the experience, but Luke was just elated to have made it out in one piece. This wasn't because he was a squeamish individual. No, there were other factors at work. Just as the cousins were about to leave, the figure insisted that they accompany him on the castle's underground boat ride. "It's just right down that staircase," he garbled. The looming guide, however, became hostile when Luke declined the offer, clutching his wrist with his bone-cold hands. It wasn't until Luke agreed that the figure released his grasp. Jonathan assumed that he just remained in character for effect, but Luke knew differently. He felt it. He concluded that if he took that ride, he would never make it out. So the question begs answering. Why would he do it knowing such a thing? Luke hastily explained his best-kept secret to Jonathan as they followed their escort down the stairs and towards the rickety wooden boat. But as Jonathan attempted to climb aboard the macabre vessel, the figure held out a wrinkled hand. "Wait," he said, while moving his hand towards Luke and extending a bony finger. "Only you." Jonathan protested. I said, "Just Luke." Now Luke knew that he had never given his name, nor was it ever spoken in the guide's presence, but he fulfilled his destiny and willingly climbed into the boat, leaving Jonathan to wait by the entrance. As the figure guided them down the inky moat, Luke only turned once to his cousin before the tunnel's darkness swallowed the vessel. Jonathan waited for hours at the castle gates. No Luke. He left the motel door unlocked that night, hoping he'd return. No Luke. He went back the next day, but nothing remained. No castle, no moat, no boat, no Luke. He thought about the secret his cousin had told him. At the time it seemed ludicrous, but now there was no mistaking the truth. Castle Dracula hadn't just accidentally caught fire. It was intentionally burned down by two reckless adolescents in a devastating case of arson. One of the teens responsible was a 15-year-old named Luke Briers. Adolescent clemencies can only last so long before they eventually catch up. And Jonathan knew that Luke and the castle were together somewhere.
They had a Ouija board. You know the story of the Ouija board that keeps coming back?
Yeah, the Ouija board that keeps... yeah.
T. Fox Dunham lives in Philadelphia with his wife Allison. He's a lymphoma survivor, cancer patient, modern bard, and historian. His first book, The Street Martyr, was published by Gutter Books. A major motion picture based on the book is being produced by Throughline Films. Destroying the Tangible Illusion of Reality or Searching for Andy Kaufman, a book about what it's like to be dying of cancer, was recently released from Perpetual Motion Machine Publishing, and Fox has a story in the next Stargate anthology from MGM and Fandemonium Books, Points of Origin. Fox is an active member of the Horror Writers Association, and he's had published hundreds of short stories and articles. His motto is Wrecking Civilization, one story at a time.
Phil Thomas is an author and screenwriter from the suburbs of Philadelphia. His screenplays have been produced into feature films False Face and Always from Darkness, and are available in major retailers such as Best Buy and Target, as well as availability on Netflix and Amazon On Demand. His short films can be viewed on his YouTube channel, Film Zero Presents. He is a member of the International Association of Professional Writers and Editors, and he currently writes for Cultured Vultures, Game Skinny, and BloodyDisgusting.com. His first novel, The Poe Predicament, is being published in 2018 by Caliburn Press.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.